Well, hey, welcome to Midday.
What's up, Chris? Man, I'm glad it's Monday. I'm ready to jump into the Bible, get going with people.
Yeah, and this is an interesting. I like this study already. I'm just looking at today's. It's getting me excited. So again, if you are new here you found this video by chance, I am Chris Combs. I'm the youth pastor at Edgerton Life Changing Church, and this is Brian Mitchell. And tell them where you're from.
Yeah. So I'm out of Chelsea, Michigan, the home of Jiffy Mix, the world's best cornbread, by the way.
There you go.
But yeah, so I'm connected with North Rock Church all throughout Michigan. And I'm serving as the online pastor right now. So doing lots of good stuff on there too. Meeting a lot of awesome people, but just glad to be with you guys today. And Chris, what are we talking about? So there's 21 acts of kindness that we heard yesterday at church. Tell us about that.
So yeah, we again are both churches. We're partnering together, and there's no end in sight. And we decided that this summer, a summer of serving, we have 3 states that are all together. We're doing 21 acts of kindness. Well, 21 days, acts of kindness every day. And this is introduced to you. If you haven't seen it yet, look on social media, look on the Church Center app. Again, we talked about it Sunday, but this is every day. There's going to be something introduced, some idea to help you think of how you can do an act of kindness today. And yours was on there, right?
Mine is. Yeah.
So somebody paid for your meal?
Yeah. So this is a long time ago. So it's funny. I'll preface the picture. You see me. I'm back. I'm basically in my car, and I pulled up to a drive-through. This is a long time ago. I was in McDonald's going through the drive-thru and on my way to work in a hurry. A little foreshadowing for our devotional today. In a hurry, in a rush, trying to get to work. I need a sausage egg muffin with cheese. Come on, man, just get me some coffee, black coffee. And I get up to the window, and I remember everything about it. The guy looks at me. He goes, "Oh, you're all good." And I tried to pay for it. And he goes, "You're good." I was like, "Huh?" He goes, "Yeah, the guy behind you. Every month, every week, he goes through the line and he pays for somebody. And this week he chose you." He said it like that. This week he chose you. And the guy from McDonald's said that. I'm like,
whoa.
You turn around, you're like, "Oh man, thanks." He gets a little wave, and I just left that day so like blown away. Like, man, here I am in a hurry, and this guy's taking the time to bless me. And I got to work, and my attitude was just completely different. So yeah, so that's the example that you'll see in social media. And that's what we would like you to maybe try today. Hey, if you're out running around, it's lunchtime, we're checking in with you. Maybe you're even through the drive-through right now, watching Midday in line. Maybe you could pay for the person behind you. Or if you're going out for ice cream tonight with the kids, hey, grab ice cream for the family behind you, something like that. Have you had anything happen like that to you?
Oh yeah, it's really cool. Actually, the one time I was part of the chain reaction of that. Like somebody, and they paid for the next person, paid for the next one. And then I get up to the window and they're like, "Yeah, you're paid for." The person in front of you paid for that. And the person in front of that paid for that. I'm like, well, I won't keep it going. And then the guy behind me, I asked, I think it was like a McDonald's thing or something. They had like $30 for food. I'm like, yep, I'm going to do it. Whatever. Like
all in, baby.
They totally had a big bill. I'm like, I'm paying for them. I don't care. Let's do it.
And then a high school wrestling team comes in after that. They're like, "Oh," the people run out. They're like,
"Nope, I'm done." Like they got to pay for themselves. But no, that's cool. And again, any act of kindness, do something
that's
today.
Right.
It could be
pick anything from the list. You got it. Yep.
And you should have a list. Where's that list? That list is found everywhere too, right?
That list is on the Church Center app. That list is highlighted on social media. We can drop that list in the chat. It's everywhere.
So I'll just say one of my favorite things to do, of course, when I'm not in a hurry, is I see a neighbor, like seriously, right next door doing something, and I go help them. They're mulching, I go help them mulch. So my neighbor's mowing, I'll get on my mower and go over there and just start, "Hey, I want to get this side while you get that side." Like, we live out in the country, so there's a lot of acres. But yeah, this is think of that. Like, look for something you can do, some act of kindness. So anyways, speaking of hurry, the devotion. So we got into this new devotion, just started this week. So today, if you don't have the invite, down below in the comments, you will see.
Jump
in. There you go. It's called the Ruthless Elimination of Hurry. And yeah, so tell us about it. Tell us about the Devo.
Unhurry to the pace of Jesus. So a lot of things jumped off at me. And obviously this is coming again off of our opening on our mixtape series, which is right in line. It runs parallel with our acts of kindness. So it's a 3-week series. And yesterday we got to hear from Pastor Jason online. And I think Pastor Jason was also in Edgerton speaking. And then Nate was in Angola, but we talked about what does the Bible mean by rest and Sabbath? And it was a time of reflection and thinking about God's goodness. Now, all of that works, assuming that you are not in a frantic, manic, panic, run through your day, Monday kind of day. Like, you have to slow down. You have to actually ruthlessly eliminate hurry from your life. And I like what the devotional kind of said is, this is a quote from Corrie Ten Boom that the pastor who wrote this is referencing. She said that if the devil can't make you sin, he'll just make you busy. Yep. Because he realizes if he can keep you busy and frantic, you're going to miss the moments that God has for you to represent him in a way that he wants to be represented. So yeah, I think it was really good. I mean, there's an exercise for the day at the bottom. It's called slow down, but it takes us to the scripture. You and I were talking about this just a second ago. The scripture is very powerful from Matthew 9. Do you want to highlight that for people?
Yeah, I want to jump in that. So before I do, this Devo this morning too talked about a quote from Dallas Willard. He's actually a theologian that I got into when I was with Youth for Christ. He has, I think that was his like life study. He's no longer alive, and sometimes dead theologians are my favorite to read. But he was really big on eliminating hurry, and he thought it was the great enemy of the spiritual life. And so again, if you haven't read it yet, it's a good Devo today. And I was going to add in also, when I was in college, we read something called I just forgot the name of it.
The little pamphlet. Tyranny of something.
Tyranny of the Urgent. If you can look that up and read it, it's well worth it. And it was, again, a pastor started passing these out to people. And it was all about how we get caught up in the busyness and what is urgent, what needs done now. That gets in the way of what's important. And so if we would slow down, we can look at the urgent things and go, wait, I know it's urgent, but it's not important, so I'm going to let it pass. Almost like sometimes when you see it's a deal, this deal ends today. Like, well, I don't have the money, so I just have to pass on that. You know, it's kind of like you got to have what's most important. So tyranny of urgent was all about that, eliminating the urgent, eliminating the hurry that pushes you to go, 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 go. So, and with
hurry is incompatible with life in Jesus's kingdom. That was another good one from this morning. Yeah. So that takes us right to this moment in time. Jesus is at the height of his ministry. Crowds are gathering around him. They're pushing in. They want him. They want a healing. They want to hear from him. It's urgent, Chris. There's so much going on. And here's Jesus, and his mindset is just talk to us about him in that moment.
Like, this is a great, one of my favorite stories too, where he's walking through. He's very known now. Many people know him. They're coming from all around. Say this healer's here. This prophet is back, and like we haven't had a prophet in forever in Israel, and now there's one. He's healing everybody. So it says as he's going through, this guy comes to him. It says it's a synagogue leader who says, "My daughter just died, but as you come and put your hands on her, I know she will live." Like, he definitely had this faith, and he's like, "Come on, let's go, and let's do it now." And so this guy, as a dad, I know he's urgent. Oh, Jesus, man. Let's go. But as he's going through there's crowds pushing in around him, and Jesus isn't really rushed. You can just feel it because as he's walking, this lady touches him who's been bleeding for years, and she thought in her head, if I just touch him, I know I'll be healed. So that's what happened. And then what does he do? He stops. Who did that? Who touched me? And he takes a break, and he just always is taking that moment to be with the person right in front of him, which is another thing Dallas Willard talked a lot about, is like being present, being connected to the person right in front of you. And that Jesus did that very well. And of course, at the end, he still made his way there. Yeah. And you'll see him. He goes in and he tells them the girl is not dead, but she's just asleep. And they all laugh at him. But Jesus was trying to teach them some important lessons that, again, what's important is eternal. Is this an eternal thing? And by telling them she's just asleep, like, I'm going to bring her back. She's going to be awake and alive here in a minute if you guys just get out of the way.
I'm reminded of like that scene in scripture that's so powerful. I'm just imagining if I'm a bystander and I probably got my phone out. I'm trying to film this. This is amazing. Like, look at this guy. Look at all this crowd. They're running towards this girl that's dead, and he's going to heal her. And I mean, and then all of a sudden everything stops. Yeah. And everyone's like, whoa, where? And they focus in on Jesus. And I'm like, I imagine at the moment, like seeing him stop and heal that lady, I would be like, whoa. I would look next to the person next to me, and my mind would all of a sudden just not get caught up in the moment, but notice the person next to me. Like, oh my gosh, we're here together. Like, it just is it's such a huge pause. Like you see that in the movies where there's a panic and everyone's running because something happens. And then you see a first responder or somebody, maybe it's just somebody that stops for somebody that fell and they're hurting, and they just stop and they care for that. They're not worried about the danger coming. They're just stopping and they are dealing with the need at that moment. That's what it reminds me of.
No, it's beautiful. That's a beautiful picture. And again, like the next verse is one that I've quoted many times to people. When you feel like your life is crazy or you're hurting or you're struggling, Jesus very well just says, if you're weary, come to me. All you who are heavy burdened, I will give you rest. Yeah. And then my yoke, this is the part I love, is take my yoke upon you what he says, for I am gentle and humble in heart. You'll find rest for your souls, for my yoke is easy and my burden is light. And so again, if you want to sit and think for a little bit in prayer today, think, what does that mean? That it is easy and the burden is light? Because there's a lot of Christians who are living their life like it's heavy and the burden is not so light. So, and what
I think that's great take homes for us today. Because we don't want you just to tune in on a midday and just get inspired and then kind of forget about it. We want this moment to sit with you. And I think that's what the devotional is asking as well, is the reading question at the bottom, if you haven't gone through it yet, is how did Jesus's unhurried, present to the moment nature increase his capacity to meet the woman with her internal bleeding and need? And then it wants you to pause 2 or 3 times a day and simply breathe, take in God's loving presence, and practice gratitude. That's coming right off of Sunday's sermon, where we reflected on the goodness of God. As our life speeds up, let's take time to pause, reflect. We've got the link in the chat for this Bible plan for you to join if you're brand new to our churches, just checking this video out, or you've yet to accept it or friend us up. All you got to do is click that link and you can join us in reading. People show up there to talk it over, talk about today's scripture together. There's already people in there right now commenting, encouraging each other. So we just want to stop in and say hi, everybody. And we hope this is a blessing to you and inspires you. I know it's inspired me. Thanks, Chris, for those words.
Yeah, Noah, some of those words, I'm hoping they helped everybody else, but I feel like I was talking to myself there a little bit. So I'm glad I paused to do the midday. It was good.
Awesome. All right, everybody. We'll see you again tomorrow for another story, another act of kindness. And we'll be back in that YouVersion Bible plan with you. We'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye-bye.